Austria has given us a lot of things. Mozart, Vienna sausages, even there where they're gross and in a can. What the Frankfurter. Austria has given us a lot of things and a ton more, obviously. It's got a lot of history. Vienna itself gave the world a huge gift. It gave us Gaston Glock, one of the most influential firearms designers since, honestly, John Moses Browning. What did Glock give us? Well, let's go back a little bit in history. Originally, Glock was making injection molded parts, things like kitchen utensils, and I think he even had a window blind patent. And then he started kind of working his way into military implements, knives, trenching tools. When he caught wind that there was going to be a handgun trial to adopt a new handgun for the military, he decided he wanted to take a shot at it. No pun intended. And he did. He learned that through his manufacturing experience with injection molding, mixed in with some metal crafting, if you will, using stamped metal parts and machine metal parts, he could create a reliable handgun. It didn't take him very long, honestly, to come up with the design. He only had a few months to do so. And he brought forth the Glock 17. Obviously, we can see how the world adopts the Glocks these days. The trials went well for him. It was a new design. Think about the guns they were using at the day. They were using HKs and Berettas and maybe even a high power type Browning that were heavy, full metal. So obviously, manufacturing was a little bit more intense. The weight was intense. Uh, he wanted to kind of streamline the process, and he did. He was able to stamp out parts and machine parts in a way that they didn't need to be hand fit like some of the other manufacturers at the time. So the weight on getting the guns into the hands of the military and police was a lot shorter. Plus, because of how they were manufactured, you could mix and match parts and still have a functioning firearm. Glock's design was a little bit different than what they were used to at the time. With the striker fired, he created a striker fire safety, which only comes out of the way once you depress the trigger, and which was kind of a revolutionary design. Plus, striker fire hadn't really been adopted in the mainstream. Obviously, since then, a lot of other manufacturers have taken cues from Glock. I really feel like he is one of the most influential firearms designers ever. Well, now let's look into the future. Well, I guess to us in the past. Glocks are used in every country just about in the world, whether it be military or police use. Dozens, if not hundreds, maybe even thousands of police units across the United States use Glocks as their trusted sidearm. Plus, millions upon millions of Americans choose to buy a Glock for their defensive use or recreational use or sport use. That's where I decided to come in on this one. This is the Glock 17. This particular Glock 17 is not my first handgun. My first Glock's a little different. We'll get to it. I'll show you. But not a lot has changed with the 17 over the years. This is a Gen 3. Safeties were a little bit different. If we went back, I'm not going to superimpose any images of the first generation of the Glock 17. But there were some differences. There were no finger ridges. There was only one pin. But it was simple. The design was simple. And honestly, it hasn't changed much over the last 30-something years in the United States. It's been a very reliable handgun. This one has a little extra stuff done to it. It's definitely not a factory Glock. But it's one that I've always trusted and always will trust. I love my Glocks. I'm not a fanboy. I will shoot anything that goes bang, but I tend to choose Glocks more than anything. I'll show you my very first Glock that I ever got. Let's see. Here it is. There are a ton of different models of Glocks out there. This is my first Glock 17. This is a Gen 3. Obviously, you can tell that there's a lot of custom work done to it. Different trigger, different sights, different guide rod, did my own stippling job, but I have put a lot of ammunition through this gun. It has been a fantastic firearm. Uh, there's a DoD site not far from me. They were running 40 caliber Glocks for years. There was rumored from one of the instructors I know out there that they had a Glock that had like 1,000,000 rounds through it, and it was still going. They've since changed what they carry out there, but it's a proven platform. Um, Again, this was my first 17 I ever got. There's a side of me that wishes, man, I never should have. I never should have raced this thing out, but it's my gun, and that's the glory of it. Glock has a lot of different models. Now, I don't have one of every model to show you. I wish I did. It would be a whole lot of fun for me. But I have chosen to get a few different ones. And since the Gen 3 has changed or been, I guess, open marketed, a lot of companies have come out with, oh, I should have got another one out of my safe. Um, this happens to be a Glock 19. This is my only 19. A 19 frame that I bought bare naked. And I built the gun into something different. The support, the aftermarket support for Glock stuff is incredible. You can get, I don't have a Polymer 80, but I have something similar to it. You can the scary ghost gun thing, right? You can buy the Polymer 80 frames and develop your own Glock. A Glock type pistol. It's not a factory Glock, obviously. This one you can see I bought an aftermarket slide. It's got an optic cut on it. I don't have an optic for it. I'll get there eventually, but I chose to do a threaded barrel. Um, the nice thing about any of these guns is they just function. They have always treated me well. In fact, this is my everyday carry. It's a little Glock 43. Now, I didn't buy the 43X. I haven't gone to the sort of stack and a half with a longer slide. I love my Glock 43. I carry this every day. This gun has been with me in a lot of places. Concealed is concealed, I guess we'll put it that way. Again, I did my own stippling. It's not stapling. That's totally something different. But no trigger job on my carry gun. I kind of have this mark that I'm not going to mess with the trigger of my carry gun. But I did choose to stipple it to give myself a little bit extra grip. This gun is so accurate for as small as it is. Now, I'm not hitting 100-yard shots with it. That's not feasible. But I'm very comfortable at up to 25 yards of getting the shot where I need to be. Very comfortable. The other nice thing about Glocks, like I said, between stippling and other things, is I got bored one day. I don't know if you can see this Cerakote job, but I got really bored one day when I was working at the range, and I got out the Cerakote, and I went crazy. This is kind of a snake skin. It's actually really ugly, but I do like it. It's like a snake skin pattern that I did on there, but it's been a great little gun. I was able to acquire a Gemtech barrel. These are not around anymore. Sweet little barrel that just, man, it fits perfectly. And then I believe this is the Right-On optic. Yep, little Right-On pistol red dot. This another fun gun to shoot. Now I do like to change the profile of my grips of my Glocks a little bit. I end up, if it's something I'm going to use as a competition style gun, I will undercut that trigger guard just a little bit to get my hand up a little bit higher on the gun. That was probably the number one complaint of the Glock frames, right? Is it's a different grip angle than what your most shooters are used to. They're used to like a 1911 style grip angle that honestly is a little bit more comfortable to shoot as far as the cant of your wrist, but it goes a long ways. And once you do undercut that grip, man, it feels so much better. Um, Again, it's my gun. I like to trick them out the way I want them. Now, I have several Glock handguns. Again, they make a ton of different models. I've shot them everywhere from 380 to 10 millimeter. Actually, I think I've shot a 460 Roland in a Glock. They're just robust guns, and they run whenever I need them to run. Now, other manufacturers have taken cue. You got the Smith & Wesson, you got SIG, you got the CZs. Like, there's a lot of other guns that mimic the action or copy the action. I don't know how to say it. They they have taken benefit of designs that Glock has brought forth into their own designs because it's a reliable action. The safe action pistol, the striker fire option, is a great design option. One of the things that we really love about Glock, especially with the 17, is the standard capacity magazine. Now I know some of you folks in communist states like California or Washington or Chicago and too many others don't like the standard capacity of the Glock 17. 17 rounds in the Glock 17. And then when you bump frame size down a little bit, like the Glock 19, you get 15 rounds in the 9mm. It's awesome. It's awesome capacity. Um, Again, a stellar job by Mr. Gaston. Um, let's talk about where these numbers come from. There's a lot of misconception about the uh, the model numbers of Glocks. Now, it all stems down to his patent numbers. Um, you have the Glock 17 was his 17th patent as Glock. Not Glock handgun, but I'm talking Glock in general. All the previous patents had to do with other things like the trenching tool, the knives, the kitchen utensils. All those were different patent numbers. So any succession after 17 are all based on patent numbers. That's where we get the numbers from for Glock. Not the magazine capacity, not the millimeters in length of the barrel, anything like that. That's not where it comes from. So any of the later model Glocks that we're going to be seeing, those numbers are obviously going to keep increasing. Now, a lot of people bitch about Glock saying, well, there's no ingenuity. And there doesn't seem to be on face value. There's none of the cosmetics. They all seem pretty similar, but there are some internal differences. Like now with the Gen 5s, you have more accurate barrels. Some of the triggers are a little bit different feel. Some of the guide rods might be different. When you get to the Model 45 and the 48s, I mean, that's just frame sizes compared to barrel lengths, right? What I'm hoping for is something that kind of happened with Ruger. Once Old Man Ruger passed away, and we got some new blood in the factories, in the ownership, I guess is a better way to put it. There was innovation. We saw new things come from Ruger, like the Ruger precision rifle, some of the Ruger handguns. That there was new blood coming into Ruger that allowed them to get past the same old, same old. And I'm hoping we're going to see that with Glock. Uh, there was patents, you've probably seen them online, of the carbine, which was just basically an AR M4 type platform. But there was also other patents. There was a rolling locking barrel design that was patented in Germany, which I was hoping we would see in the United States. Something kind of like the Beretta Storm. But maybe there's more that we haven't seen yet, and I'm hoping we'll see some new innovation. I would love to see Glock come out with a full metal titanium frame, not from an aftermarket. We've seen them from aftermarket companies, but I'd love to see Glock jump into the dedicated race gun market or carbine market. How awesome would it be to see a pistol caliber carbine that would accept Glock mags that comes from the Glock factory, not from people like Kel-Tec or Smith & Wesson? It would be something amazing. It's something we can all hope for. All in all, why do I choose Glocks to carry? Uh, I know what I expect. I know I will get what I expect out of my Glock every time I put it in my pocket or in my pants or around my waist. I know what I'm going to get every time I press that trigger. I've put a lot of rounds through this and a lot of other of my Glock handguns. I've shot some competitions. I've done a lot of shooting as instructing or being a student. I know exactly what I get when I press that trigger. I've never had a Glock fail me. Is that 100% of the time? Am I know that my gun's going to work 100% of the time? No. There's no gun that's going to function 100% of the time. It's a mechanical device. Things fail. But in my experience, my personal experience, uh, and obviously my exposure to the handgun more than any other models of handguns that I own, my Glocks perform. And that's why I choose to carry them. The grip angles don't bother me. I can pick up a Glock, shoot 100 rounds out of it, and then pick up a Smith & Wesson and shoot 100 rounds out of it and not really see a major difference. At least maybe the first few rounds, I might notice a difference in my point of impact because I'm used to that grip angle being a little different. but you just adjust and you watch your sights. Honestly, your grip angle has nothing to do with how you're going to react to that target. It all comes down to your trigger press and your sights. That's it. Learn to read them. Learn to press that trigger, and you'll be fine. Now, if you like content like this, if you want more type of reviews of maybe even what's in my gun safe, we can do that. I appreciate your time on here. If you like to support the show in any way, you can jump on our Patreon. You can find us on our link tree, and it'll link to all those things. You can jump on and listen to the podcast. We are almost 230 something episodes, 240 episodes now. Done it a long time. We'd love you to be the part of the family. If you're looking for training, you can reach out to us. We can help you find instructors all over the country. I'd be happy to help you out. If this is your first time watching anything about a Glock, don't let my opinion dissuade you or persuade you into purchasing. Find somebody that's got one that you can shoot. Go to a range, rent one, take a class, learn for yourself. I can't tell you which gun is best for you. That's something that you have to choose for yourself. But I can give you my honest opinion about how it's worked out for me. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me on this video tonight. It's a ton of fun, and I enjoy everything about firearms. Again, you can find us at rangemindedpodcast.com. From that website, there's all of our links. You can find the podcast and everything from there. rangemindedpodcast.com. Thanks again. Be safe. Hey, and don't forget to take somebody shooting.